And who said you had to be Latino to be an immigrant? Who said your skin had to be brown or black to be an immigrant? Who made that stereotype? Who made and built that system? On the news, who are we seeing getting raided by ICE? People of color or people who are white? People of color or people who are Asian? In which communities is ICE going to raid? Beverly Hills or Huntington Park?
I seen someone ask this question and it got me to thinking, you're right. Why haven't the Latin community called on the Asians that's in California to go out and march and help? Why is the call of action only to Black people? I just really want to know. Because they call themselves the model minority. So they supposed to be smarter, more educated. This is all per them. Why haven't y'all called on the Asians? Why do they get to sit back and chill? We already know they out to pew us. Let me know. Get down in the comments because I want to know. That's an interesting question.
In a country built on immigration, fear of deportation still tears families apart. But now, some Latinos are pointing fingers not just at ICE, but at other communities in America. Why? Today, we are diving into a complicated and emotional issue. Why are some Latinos blaming other groups in America for ICE deportations? It is a heavy topic, but we are not here for drama, we are here for the truth. Let's break it down.
Everybody talking about this black and brown need to unite and all this good stuff because of the LA riot and all that stuff. And my thing is, can y'all sub us out for the Asian community? Because the Asians, they getting away with a lot of stuff. They not doing nothing. Ain't nobody mention them. They just lived in their own little world, peaceful. Like they ain't got no problems going on over there. They even had the little Stop Hate Asian bill. I don't know if it's still there now though, but they had that bill. You know, they living good. Okay. So my thing is, y'all talking about some, oh no, it's not all of us Latinos and all that voted for them and all. Because what we can't do is lose all our YNs trying to help y'all and all this stuff when we gonna need our YNs when it's time for our own battle. You get what I'm saying? So no, we can't be sacrificing all our people for y'all to help y'all. Y'all should have voted, did right at the polls. None of this stuff would have happened. But y'all chose this. Like I say, get them Asians, get the white folks that didn't vote for Trump and all that stuff. Get them people. You know what I'm saying? Leave us alone because, like I say, we going to have our own battles and we going to need our YNs and all that good stuff. We keep our health together and all that for our own battles. Like I say, ask somebody else.
I'll say this, right? I'm a nobody. But it's like, I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand. Asian people, we support the country. We support, the betterment of the country. We support that. So what is there to say? We support the deportations of illegals. It is honestly tiring because here's the thing. We want the country to be better. We want the country to be better. We want the country to, if you did it legally, if you stand in line, if you paid the price, right? You paid the money and all that, you did all the process, the paperwork, all the stuff, which usually most Asian people do. Why would we care about someone jumping in line, crossing the border and all this stuff? Why should we, be happy about that? We're not really, this is the thing where we're not really dependent. Asian people aren't really dependent on, migrant labor, right? Not like other people. We're not really dependent on migrant labor. So we're not going to cry that the U.S. is pretty much backing what they promised. The U.S. promised, or this presidency promised, that they would deport illegal immigrants. They're doing that. Why are you crying? Why are you crying about it? This is the thing where, you see it like these immigrants are waving the flags of other countries, burning down the flag of the U.S., and then you think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community and their country. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. So really, stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it because you won't like what they say. You won't like what they say. So really, it's better off that they do the content that they're doing. instead of, saying things you don't like. Because here's the thing, Asian people don't want to focus on the negativity and, say what they're really thinking. Deport, right? Deport illegal immigrants. They are fine with it. I've been seeing so many people asking Asian creators to speak up about the whole riots in LA and all these deportation things. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand. We support the deportations of illegals. Why would we care about someone jumping the line, crossing the border and all this stuff? You think Asian people want to support that? No, they want to stay away from that. They don't want to be grouped in with these people. That's the thing. Asian people want to, focus on themselves and their community. Stop asking Asian influencers to speak up about it.
Yup.
The Asian community has played into the model minority myth since they entered this country. You never see Asians protesting. You never see Asians as a group sticking up for other groups, sticking up for themselves, even though they benefit from the fight that Black people and other groups do. They are the most white aligning minorities. And they want to just be like absent from society. They're almost like they exist in America to follow the rules, to not ruffle any feathers, and just to support whatever America does. And that is like, white is right. That's the way forward. Now, that's not all Asians, right? That's not everybody in that community, but that's typically why they're not looking to Asians to have a fight. When have you ever seen Asians fighting? I really want you to think long and hard about that. As Black people, when have you seen Asians at the forefront of any fight? The only time I can think in history that I can think of that is when the riots happened in LA and the Asians were fighting back against being attacked. Other than that, so yeah, that's why they'd be looking at Black people and not Asians, because Black people fight for everything.
And just like I said, they're flipping the script, just like we knew was going to happen. See, there's a reason why we were telling y'all out at those protests to stop carrying the Mexican flag or whatever other flag y'all are carrying, and to instead carry a U.S. flag or an upside down U.S. flag. Because they see this and it's easy for them to flip the narrative and say, oh, look, America is under attack by foreigners. And just within an hour of me posting that video telling y'all that, there they are in the comments. Here they go making videos. Because this was exactly what they were going to do in the first place. Seeing flags march up and down in these protests that are anything that they deem non-American. They were always going to do this. This is exactly why we said y'all should be flying the U.S. flag, to bring home the point so that they cannot flip the narrative that this is an attack on American citizens. So that when those photographers are out there taking pictures, they will see exactly what is happening. And there is no wiggle room for misinterpretation and misinformation, so that they can see exactly what was happening at this day in history. Bring your Mexican flags, but the U.S. flag needs to be seen more than anything, because it needs to be driven home that this is an attack on American citizens.
I don't have a huge following, but I still feel a responsibility to say something. I've lived in LA for 4 years now, and what's happening with the ICE raids, the fear, the silence, especially from those within the Asian American community, has been really weighing heavily on my heart. I grew up in Queens, New York, around large Latino and Hispanic communities, and I've witnessed firsthand how deeply connected our communities are. A lot of Asian-owned businesses often rely on the labor of undocumented workers, often quietly without any acknowledgement. Now, when the same people are being targeted, the silence is loud. It's painful. We come from immigrant families. We know what fear looks like, and we know what sacrifice looks like. And yet so many of us turn a blind eye when others are being targeted for the very reasons we're here. To those who are affected, I don't know what to say. I am truly sorry. You deserve to feel safe, and you deserve to be seen. And to influencers, this moment calls for more than just posts about hidden gems in LA and food spots.
This video is for the Asian American influencers, specifically the ones that use Asian accents for views and clout. And I'm gonna apologize in advance for all the expletives that I'm about to say, but I've been brewing and holding this in for months now, since the last season of Squid Games dropped, when there was an actual political turmoil in South Korea when they went on Netflix's dime. And even though it literally applied perfectly to the whole plot of Squid Games, not a single one of them spoke out about it, but I'm drawing the line here. Because what do you mean? You're literally putting on wigs and outfits to mimic your immigrant Asian fathers and mothers, using their accents for views and clout, and all the while you're trying to embody their whole immigrant experience, you're watching people getting taken away from their families by ICE illegally and unconstitutionally, by the way, and you're not connecting the dots and humanizing these people because they could be your own mother, father, and family. I mean, they are literally raiding elementary schools, ripping children away from their families, and you're sitting there posting and storying about going to travel and going to premieres right now? Are you fucking serious? Because who do you think relates to your immigrant parents' experience or accents enough to follow you, to give you the views that you make your money off of, that you get your brand deals off of? Immigrants and children of immigrants. And when I'm talking about the ones that aren't, who literally watch and follow you because they're literally laughing at the accent. So not only are you helping to stigmatize immigrants, but now when your own people, your own followers need your help, you're too busy living your life. Because I guarantee you oh my God, thank you for 3 million followers. Those videos do nothing for your viewers. They do nothing for your viewers. They are only for you. That's crazy, because I see these people who look nothing like me, and all I can think about is how my mother came here as a single parent immigrant and only got to stay in this country because I was fucking born here, and how if my mother still lived in this country, how she could be one of those people who are just being ripped away from my life right now. And you can't even humanize your own followers enough to even do a performative restoring of resources? Are you fucking shitting me? Fuck you. And I hope for your sake that you never, ever need the community for anything in your life, because bitch, we don't fucking know you. 씨발 개새끼.
Your favorite influencers and what's happening in LA. Let's talk about it. When George Floyd was murdered by the police in 2020, there was like this immediate cultural shift, however short-lived. And it wasn't only like these nationwide massive protests, but also like this feeling that everyone had to denounce police brutality and denounce racism immediately for fear of being canceled. There was this crazy pressure, and it wasn't just influencers, it was celebrities, and it was brands, and it was everyday people. Everyone had to denounce police brutality and racism in order to be like accepted in society. The way people did this was myriad, but like one of the most memorable ways was putting up that black square on Instagram. However like ill-conceived that idea was, it was this sudden feeling like, I do not align with these horrible values and what's happening in this country. I need to make it clear to everyone all at once that I denounce police brutality and racism. It enabled the consumer, the people on Instagram and on TikTok, like consuming your content, to know, okay, this person is safe. Like, I am not lining the pockets of someone whose values are horrendous. Now it's 2025 and Trump is president again, and he sent a federalized National Guard into California against the wishes of the governor to fight against the protesters who were protesting what? Peacefully about stopping the kidnapping of families. And this moment is terrifying. It feels like we're on the precipice and we're about to fall off into something super, super bad from which we literally cannot return. And everything is crazy and scrambled. And then you go on TikTok and what do you see? You get to see your favorite NYC influencers and those LA girlies rate their matchas today and tell you how cute their set is, and oh, I'm going to this restaurant later, and please don't forget to shop from my Amazon storefront, all while families are literally being torn apart in this country. And this like authoritarianism is beset upon California. Oh, well, Chris, we don't go to influencers for their political opinions. Well, one, I think that's absolute BS, but like two, this isn't just a matter of politics, it's also a matter of morality.
ICE, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, has become a symbol of fear for many immigrant communities, especially Latinos. Since the early 2000s, and especially during the Trump administration, ICE deportations skyrocketed, separating parents from kids, detaining undocumented workers, and targeting people over traffic stops or outdated paperwork. For many Latinos families, it is not just political, it is personal. You do not expect the blame to fall on ICE or the US government, and yes, that is a big part of it. But more recently, some Latinos are turning their frustration sideways toward other marginalized groups, including Black Americans accused of pushing for stronger policing, Asian Americans blamed for staying silent on immigration, even liberal white allies criticized for talking big but delivering little real change. Why this tension? Let's keep it real. Latino voters have been courted by both political parties, but when it comes to re-immigration reform, both sides have dropped the ball. So when Latinos feel betrayed, they start asking, who is really fighting for us? Sometimes that frustration turns inward and sideways. Here is what we gotta understand. Division is a tactic. Historically, oppressed communities have been turned against each other to maintain the status quo. When Latinos blame Black Americans for deportation policy or resent other immigration groups for getting more attention, that is not solving anything. That is exactly what the system wants. Because while we are busy blaming each other, ICE keeps operating. Black, brown, and immigrant communities all face state violence, over-policing, economic inequality, and political neglect. But our experiences are not identical. Black Americans deal with generational oppression and police brutality. Latinos face deportation, fear, language barriers, and broken immigration systems. Asians may face the modern minority minds and hate crimes, but are often erased in these conversations. So when pressure hits, it's easy to point fingers. But the truth is, none of us created this system. The real problem is not another group. It is racist policies. Privatized detention centers making billions of immigrant suffering. Politicians using immigrants as pawns for votes, then doing nothing once in office. The enemy is systemic oppression, not each other. If you are Latino and angry about deportations, you have every right to be. But remember this, we do not win by blaming other victims of the system. We win by calling out the people in power, building coalitions, and demanding real change. Thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to like this video and share it in the comment box below. Until next time, cheers and have a good one.